So I just recently took the BRC2, which is basically the same course but on your own bike, and the ARC, which is the advanced course, which I was really scared to take because I thought it would be harder, but it actually ended up surprising me. Day number 1 BRC, so just a couple weeks ago, if you remember, when I was on the Honda CB300F. What would you, scale of 1 to 10, how would you rank how I did?
Ooh. That's a tricky question.
Yeah, that's a real tricky question.
That's putting you on the spot.
So a couple of weeks ago, I showed you that I took the MSF course, the BasicRider course, the very initial one you can take. I took it again 5 years later because I wanted to get back into sharpening my skills like I did years ago, because I know what it's like for you to be researching bikes, trying to find out what you want, because I mean, that's exactly what I did when I was looking for, anytime I was looking for a new bike. I reviewed, oh, there was a dog poking his head out that window. Whenever I was looking up bikes, I would go to YouTube. I would look up reviews about bikes, and I didn't realize this until more recently, but all the reviews I was looking at was made by guys that are, I'm sure, much stronger and much taller than me. So I didn't realize that without this vertical challenge, they didn't have some struggles that I've had on some bikes that they rode and said, this is the perfect bike for everybody. Well, it wasn't for me. So I want to be able to test ride bikes and give that perspective of a shorter rider with the upper body strength of a woman, because that's what I am, and I hope it helps. So I wanted to start from the basics, so that's why I took the MSF course first, as you saw a few weeks ago, and now I want all the classes. So I just recently took the BRC2, which is basically the same course but on your own bike, and the ARC, which is the advanced course, which I was really scared to take because I thought it would be harder, but it actually ended up surprising me. So the BRC course, it's basically precision slow speed skills. If you think of like all the things you've ever done riding that have been like the most like precise concentration requiring things, like a really tight U-turn or something like that, but you really only do them, I don't know, once every other 2 months when you're riding on the road. Well, in the BRC, you do it the whole class. You do all those precise skills. And my struggle, a recent struggle that used to not be a problem for me, are the really tight U-turns within about 20 feet on my bike. If a bike has wide crash guards, I don't have that fear. Suddenly. I had to tackle that again with those classes, so I'll let you know how that went. So I don't know if it's just because I was on my bike this time or because I had already practiced it once a couple weeks before, but my instructors told me that I did much better in the course on my own bike than on their Honda CB300F that I was borrowing for the course the first time. Peter and Jeff, thank you so much. Just finishing up the ARC. I thought this was actually easier than the BRCs. How do you guys think I did?
I think you think
How would you rank?
the BRC is easy, or the ARC is easier than
Yeah.
the BRC. You love that U-turn box so much.
Darn U-turn box.
Yeah, the U-turn box messes with people a lot, including yourself.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, what you did well on is the most important stuff.
Oh, good.
Taking curves,
Mm-hmm.
learn different techniques in there. You were doing some trail braking and brake assisted steering, so that was a little bit new for you.
Mm-hmm.
And stopping quickly, a lot of improvement. We saw you stopping quickly over
All
the
right.
couple of days.
Great.
And also swerving. Okay, those are the three most important stuff. Now, doing a slow speed U-turn inside that box that everybody gets all messed up with is probably the least important thing. Now, it's an important skill in handling a motorcycle, but the other three things will save your life, and that's where you excel.
All right. Oh, good.
See, the reason you probably thought this was easier as well is you look at where you started with the BRC.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the advances that you made
Mm-hmm.
over the last few days.
Mm-hmm.
So each time you got better
Yeah.
at each skill. So
Cool.
and naturally, which shows that you have improved
All right.
since you think it was easier.
Whew. Thank goodness. And the box. The dreaded box. The tight U-turns in the box. I finally didn't get it perfectly, but I got my U-turns a lot tighter. And there were a couple times where I got it perfectly within the box. So don't ask me why, but give me a tight slow speed U-turn on my own bike and I freeze up. Give me a tight high speed curve with a cliff edge in Arizona and I'm like, yes! It was kind of cool to see a variety of bikes in class. Like one guy was on a KTM Duke 390 and he said my review video on it was actually, he said, was what made him get it. And another guy was like, hey, I watch your videos, Doodle. Shout out Rainbows. It did make me feel better to know that some of the instructors even said that sometimes they even mess up the U-turns. And Red Spade, who's done literally hundreds of track days, she said she failed the figure 8 and would fail it again today. Slow speed precision skills. And the next day was the advanced course. I was really worried about the advanced course because I thought it would be even harder, but I was pleasantly surprised. They said no box in the advanced class, no slow speed tight U-turns, just some emergency maneuvers and mostly higher speed curvy skills. So basically mountain rides, right up my alley. So I actually did way better in the advanced class than I did in the BRC. But I also asked the instructors and turns out I did better than I thought. What would you all have, now be honest, don't feel bad. Day number 1 BRC, so just a couple weeks ago if you remember, when I was on the Honda CB300F. What would you, scale of 1 to 10, how would you rank how I did?
Ooh, that's a tricky question.
Yeah, that's a real tricky
Yeah,
question.
that's putting you on the spot. I would say from the improvement, and I'm throwing the box in there, I would say probably 8.5 to 9.
Oh, not so bad. What about today?
I think you did well all day today.
Well, it's a different
Okay.
skill set.
Mm.
Okay, because
Yeah.
the BRC, the first one, is a different skill set. It's very basic.
Mm-hmm.
The BRC2 is you're introducing your motorcycle
Mm-hmm.
into the equation.
Mm.
Now the ARC, we're refining a lot of different things. You're
Yeah.
refining body positioning. You're refining when to use the brake
Mm-hmm.
in a curve,
Mhm.
brake assisted steering,
Yeah.
all of that thing. So you're building one on the other. So that's kind of a hard question to answer.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you made significant improvement just in the
Oh.
last couple of weeks
Yes.
from the, like Jeff said, from the BRC to the BRC2 to the ARC.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Peter and Jeff. I
Oh,
loved
it's a
having
pleasure
class with
having
you all.
you.
It was great having class with you all. I mean, I don't look at people who are slackers and people who are average performers. I only look at the role models. And when you look at them, there's always a lot of room for improvement. But they see the whole picture. So I guess compared to the whole picture, my instructors thought I was doing much better than I thought. One of the instructors did tell me that riding dirt is like all slow speeds, counterweighting, which is what you use in slow speeds for getting tight turns and tight U-turns. What'd be really ironic is I finally overcome my fear of U-turns. Not with all these classes, not with all these street bike classes, but with the dirt bike class. So, next up, dirt bike day. By the way, you know how you, especially in colder temperatures, you want to give room for like 15 degrees for a wind chill? So like if you're gonna be riding in 60 degrees, kind of dress for 45 degrees if you're gonna be on the highway. Well, slow speed skills, it's the opposite. I saw the weather was gonna be a high of 70 degrees Fahrenheit, 70 degrees Fahrenheit in an office to me is cold. My fingers will be cold. 70 degrees at slow speed skills with gear on a tarmac or whatever you call that, the concrete, is hot. Normally my trick with hot weather riding is to wet my clothes. It's like you have a portable AC by doing that. That backfired. And my pants are wet. It's disgusting. Because I was wearing fall pants with no perforation, so instead I just had a major case of wet legs and butt the rest of the day. Major case of swamp butt. It was awful. So awful.